Hey guys, it is Daniel Leon Kid. I am doing a quick impromptu video because I'm bored and I'm waiting to go home back to Georgia, and my phone is sitting on a water bottle, but neither here nor there. But I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my piercings that I have. I have my nose pierced, both nipples, and my, excuse me, and my belly button pierced. And I just wanted to give you guys how I take care of my piercings, some things that I ran into, and yeah. So the first piercing that I got was my nose, and it did great for the first 3 weeks. And then I came back from, I think it was Christmas break, and I was taking my glasses off, and it snugged the stud, and I have the L bar on the inside, and I still have the same nose ring from when I first got it pierced, and it tugged it out, and I had to push that back in, and literally the next day or two I noticed that I had a keloid. And at first it was barely noticeable, but the only reason I was able to notice is because I was able to see my nose ring in the corner, like in the front, I guess peripheral, or in the front corner of my eye. And so I knew that it was kind of sticking up, so it was sitting on top of this bump, so it wasn't going all the way down into my nose. So I caught it really fast, since it was only about a day or two after I had tucked it and got it out. And apparently it forms when your ring comes out of your nose, or whatever piercing site you have, too early, and you try to put it back in. So I used NeilMed saline solution, and I ran it over my nose. I ran it inside my nose, just to make sure the inside was clean. So I just used a neti pot to clean it. That's how I was cleaning my nose ring since I got it pierced, was just with a neti pot. And then it went down, and then it came back, and it came back ferociously. So I started using sea salt paste, and it went down a little bit. It got really small, and then it didn't bother me for another couple of weeks, and then it came back, and then I used toothpaste, and toothpaste, it looked like it almost disappeared, and then all of a sudden it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I eventually used tea tree oil. That was decent. It was okay. And then I talked to my mom about my keloid, and she was like, well, and I don't know if this is correct by any medical standpoint, but she was telling me how it's just like any other wound, and so to just use a little bit of alcohol and turn it, and the biggest thing that I got was turning the nose ring, because if you have a scab or any kind of a wound, your skin will try to close over it, thinking that it's a part of your body. And when I started just taking a little bit of alcohol on a cotton swab and turning my nose ring ever so often, then the keloid went away and it hasn't come back. But I run into the issue of my nose getting really dry and my skin starting to flake. And so I just had to make sure that I have an ointment that keeps my skin from, like eczema and stuff like that. So it helped out, and the scabby flakiness finally went away. So that was great. And then I got my belly button pierced. So my belly button piercing, one of the biggest things that I was worried about was obviously my weight, because I was afraid that people wouldn't be able to see. That's why I have my shirt off so you guys can see everything. So I have my belly button pierced, and since they kind of pierced it above my belly button, and the second hole is also above my belly button, because with me being a bigger person, it just helps it be a little more visible. And when I stand up straight, you can't really see the bottom one all the time, so I would have to stick my stomach out for you to be able to see it, and obviously no one wants to do that. So I'm gonna go back soon and get the J bar. My nipple rings, ugh, I love these. I got those. Anyway, I had no problem with my belly button piercing, except for I would have to be careful when I would exercise or something like that, because the spot right behind the top ball would kind of rub against my skin and make my skin sensitive, and so I would just have to make sure I take care of it and kept cleaning it. And it, one of the biggest things that I can say is, just because something looks or feels fine doesn't mean you should stop cleaning it for the amount of time that your piercer told you to. So and again, I don't know if this is right or not, but this is what I did personally. Do it at your own risk. I got my belly button piercing, and I immediately started using what my mom said about, you know, treat a piercing like a wound. So I used hydrogen peroxide on the Q-tip, took a little bit of that. I didn't want to use alcohol because I didn't want that to dry up. Okay, so I just used hydrogen peroxide, and I would spray a little bit of, I had the NeilMed wound wash at first, and then I got the NeilMed Piercing Aftercare, and then I also had the H2O Ocean. Actually, I'm about to, how to get my nipples back, my belly button piercing. But yeah, I just used those, and some people tell you not to touch your piercings, but again, since I started turning my nose ring, my keloid went away, so in my nipples I just kind of moved the bars from side to side just a little bit, and for my belly button piercing, I just move the bar up and down. I don't grab at it, tug at it, I just slightly, you know, do like this just so I can get a little movement. And yeah, my nipple piercings, it was just a little hard to sleep on my stomach because I'm a stomach sleeper, and there was a little bit of blood the first night, and then after that I felt fine ever since. Your nipples will always permanently be hard, but yes, well actually no, I feel like they're not always hard, but they're just always out. They're always saying hello. But yes, that's the only thing I use is hydrogen peroxide, and I heard that, you know, you shouldn't use that because it can kill cells or nerves or whatever like that. But again, that's just something that I do, that I heard that worked for other people, that I felt like worked for me. I don't know if it's working for me medically, but from the results that I have seen, and these are the products that I use. So I just wanted to do that while I was waiting for my parents to come pick me up from the good old Iowa so I can go back home. And yeah.